Welcome back to the channel, my fellow night owls. Tonight we delve into the chilling unknown, those places where the veil between our world and the next wears thin, places most avoid, places most fear, places where echoes of suffering linger long after the lights have gone out. We're talking, of course, about hospitals, places meant for healing, for comfort, but sometimes they become something else entirely. Tonight we explore 3 tales of deserted hospitals, each more terrifying than the last. These are the places where hope goes to die, where the air itself whispers of unimaginable horrors. So dim the lights, lock your doors and prepare yourselves, for tonight we enter the abyss. St. Mary's Hospital, once a beacon of hope, now a decaying monument to forgotten suffering. The walls, once filled with the sounds of healing, now echo with silence and despair. It's said that the very walls of this place weep with the agony of those who died within. The air is thick with the weight of untold stories and unspoken pain. Our story begins with a group of foolish teenagers, drawn to the abandoned hospital like moths to a flame. They were seeking a thrill, an adventure to break the monotony of their lives. They sought adventure, a thrill. They found something far more sinister. The hospital's dark history began to reveal itself in the shadows. The air grew heavy as they stepped inside, the silence thick with unseen menace. Every creak of the floorboards seemed to whisper warnings they couldn't quite understand. The stench of decay clung to their clothes, a grim reminder of the hospital's gruesome past. It was as if the very essence of the place was trying to repel them. As they ventured deeper, each echoing footstep seemed to awaken something dark and hungry. The shadows seemed to move, watching their every step. A cold wind whipped through the corridors, carrying whispers of despair and pleas for mercy. The very air seemed to be alive with the memories of the past. Then they heard it, a blood-curdling scream that tore through the silence, followed by the sound of frantic footsteps. It was a sound that would haunt them forever. Panic seized them, their youthful bravado crumbling in the face of true terror. They realized too late that they were not alone. They ran, desperate to escape the clutches of whatever evil lurked within those walls. Their hearts pounded as they navigated the maze of corridors. But the hospital seemed to twist and turn, its corridors becoming a labyrinth of shadows and despair. Every turn led them deeper into the darkness. One by one they disappeared, their screams echoing through the empty halls until only silence remained. The hospital had claimed them. The silence of the grave, a silence that speaks volumes of the horrors that transpired within these walls. Some say their tormented souls still wander the halls of St. Mary's, forever trapped in a nightmare of their own making, their restless spirits unable to find peace. A chilling reminder that some places are best left undisturbed. The hospital stands as a testament to the darkness that can reside in places meant for healing. The hospital stands to this day, a decaying shell of its former glory, a place where time seems to have stopped, preserving the horrors within, a silent sentinel guarding the secrets of its gruesome past. Its walls hold the stories of those who suffered and died within, but listen closely. Can you hear the whispers? The faint echoes of those who once walked these halls? The echoes of agony that linger in the air, the cries of those who never found peace. St. Mary's Hospital, a place of healing and of unimaginable horror, a place where the past and present collide in a symphony of fear. Our next tale takes us to Mercy General, a once renowned hospital now shrouded in an eerie silence. This place, once bustling with life and hope, now stands as a monument to tragedy and the unknown. Locals whisper of a spectral presence, a vengeful spirit that roams the halls at night. They speak in hushed tones, afraid that even mentioning her might summon her wrath. They say she was a nurse, devoted to her patients, her heart filled with compassion. Her dedication was unmatched, and she was loved by all who knew her. But a tragic accident, a fire that swept through the hospital, claimed her life. The flames consumed everything in their path, leaving behind only ashes and sorrow. Now her spirit lingers, unable to find peace. Trapped between worlds, she wanders the empty corridors, a silent guardian of a place long forgotten. Some say she's searching for something, someone, perhaps a lost patient, or maybe a way to avenge her own untimely demise. Her presence is felt by those who dare to enter, a cold chill that seeps into their bones. One night, a security guard making his rounds felt a chill run down his spine. The air around him grew colder, and an unsettling feeling of being watched took hold. The air grew heavy, and a faint scent of lavender filled the air, the nurse's favorite perfume. It was as if she was right there, standing beside him, her presence undeniable. He turned a corner, and there she was, a ghostly apparition, her form barely visible yet unmistakably real. A translucent figure in a white uniform, her face obscured by shadows, but her eyes burned with an icy fire. They seemed to pierce through the darkness, filled with a sorrow that words could not describe. The guard stumbled back, his heart pounding in his chest. Fear gripped him, and he felt as though he was suffocating under the weight of her gaze. He wanted to scream, to run, but his feet felt rooted to the spot. It was as if an invisible force held him in place, compelling him to face the spectral figure before him. The ghostly figure glided towards him, her voice a mournful whisper that seemed to seep into his very soul. "Help me," she pleaded, her words echoing in the empty halls. "Help me," she pleaded, her voice filled with an unbearable sadness. It was a cry for help that transcended the boundaries of life and death. The guard's blood turned to ice. He could feel her pain, her desperation, but he was powerless to do anything. He wanted to help, but how do you help a ghost? How do you reach out to a soul trapped in a realm beyond our understanding? How do you appease a spirit consumed by grief and anger? The questions swirled in his mind, but no answers came. He closed his eyes, bracing himself for the unknown. The fear was overwhelming, but he knew he had to face it. When he opened them again, the apparition was gone. The hallway was empty, but the memory of her presence lingered. But the scent of lavender lingered, a chilling reminder of the ghostly presence that haunted Mercy General. It was a scent that would forever be etched in his memory. Some say the nurse's spirit still wanders the halls, searching for peace, searching for answers. Her quest is eternal, her sorrow unending. And those who dare to enter her domain may find themselves face to face with the ghost of Mercy General, a haunting reminder that some spirits never rest. Our final tale, my friends, is not for the faint of heart. It is a story that will chill you to the bone and make you question the very nature of reality. This is the story of Blackwood Asylum, a place where madness and evil intertwine, where the very walls seem to pulsate with a malevolent energy, a place that has seen unspeakable horrors and unimaginable suffering. Blackwood was no ordinary hospital. It was a place shrouded in mystery and darkness, a place where the line between sanity and madness was blurred. It was a place for the criminally insane, a prison for those whose minds had become twisted beyond recognition. The patients were not just mentally ill, they were dangerous, unpredictable, and often violent. It's said that the horrors inflicted within those walls birthed something truly evil, an entity of pure darkness that feeds on fear and suffering. An entity that thrives in the shadows, waiting for its next victim. The entity is not a ghost nor a demon, but something far more ancient, far more insidious. It is a manifestation of the darkest parts of the human psyche, a creature born from the depths of despair and madness. It exists in the shadows, a formless terror that preys on the weak and vulnerable. It is a presence that can be felt but not seen, a whisper in the dark that sends shivers down your spine. One night, a group of paranormal investigators, eager to prove their skepticism, decided to spend the night in Blackwood. They were confident, armed with the latest technology and a healthy dose of skepticism. They sought evidence, proof of the supernatural. They wanted to debunk the myths and legends surrounding the asylum, to show the world that there was nothing to fear. But what they found was something far more terrifying. As the night wore on, the atmosphere grew heavy with dread, and the investigators began to feel a growing sense of unease. As darkness descended, the asylum seemed to come alive. The walls seemed to close in, and the air was thick with a palpable sense of fear. The air grew thick with dread, and the temperature plummeted, sending chills down their spines. Their breath fogged in the cold air, and they huddled together for warmth and comfort. They heard whispers, disembodied voices that slithered through the corridors, whispering their darkest fears, their deepest regrets. The voices seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere, echoing through the empty halls. The entity was toying with them, savoring their fear, drawing them deeper into its web of madness. It was a game to the entity, a cruel and twisted game. One by one, the investigators succumbed to the asylum's grip. Their minds began to unravel, and they were consumed by the darkness that surrounded them. Their sanity shattered, their minds twisted by the entity's malevolent influence. They were no longer the confident skeptics who had entered the asylum. They were now broken, terrified shells of their former selves. Only one survived, his hair turned white, his eyes filled with a haunted terror. He was a shadow of his former self, forever changed by the horrors he had witnessed. He spoke of unspeakable horrors, of a darkness that consumed everything in its path. His words were filled with a terror that could not be faked, a fear that came from deep within. Blackwood Asylum still stands, a testament to the horrors that lie hidden within the human psyche. It is a place that holds the darkest secrets of the mind, a place where the line between reality and nightmare is blurred. But be warned, my friends, for the entity still lurks within those walls. It is a presence that cannot be banished, a darkness that cannot be defeated. It waits patiently for its next victims, eager to feast on their fear, to drag them down into the abyss. Blackwood Asylum is not just a place, it is a living, breathing entity of terror, a place of madness, a breeding ground for terror, where the entity reigns supreme. Enter if you dare, but be prepared to face the darkness within. So there you have it, my fellow horror enthusiasts. 3 tales of deserted hospitals, each more chilling than the last. Remember, these places hold the echoes of suffering, the remnants of fear. If you ever find yourselves drawn to such places, be wary, for you never know what lurks in the shadows, what whispers in the darkness. Until next time, my friends, keep the lights on, stay safe, and remember, sometimes the scariest monsters are the ones we create ourselves.